Alright guys, so it's alternator day. If you watched the YouTube shorts that I put up of that CRV with the alternator getting pretty hot, go ahead and check it out. It's on my YouTube shorts. But this is not the CRV, this is the 2011 Honda Pilot, and I'm also doing a alternator on this. And the reason is that it's not charging, but if you see, take a look. It's got a new spool valve. And look at the alternator. So somebody changed the spool valve, but didn't replace the alternator. It most likely was charging, but since it's soaked with oil, it probably stopped charging. I think the customer said it was like, you know, he had this replaced like 6 months ago, maybe 5 months, 5 or 6, he's not sure, but didn't replace the alternator. So usually when this starts leaking and leaks on the alternator, it soaks it up with oil. Yeah, the alternator just quits on you, stops charging. Sometimes when you know, your alternator might be charging at the time when you replace the spool valve, but you know, 6 months later you're gonna have issues of charging your battery because it's soaked in oil. So that's what happened here. First of all, let's get rid of some of the stuff like this coolant bottle, right? Just give us some space. Look at that, plenty of space already. The alternator is just right there. So yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and disconnect the battery, at least the negative cable anyways, and then yeah, take the belt off. Yeah, and then start you know, disconnecting some of the cables, and yeah, it should come out pretty easy. There's plenty of space to get it out, so if you want to do your alternator yourself, it's pretty easy on the 2011 Honda Pilots. Well, not just the 2011s, I guess. It ranges. There's a various range of these Pilots in this year coming. You know what I mean? Okay, so far, took the positive cable off the alternator, took the connector off, took the belt off. Yeah, other than that, a couple 12 millimeter bolts, 114 down there, I believe. I think could be a 12. I can't remember. Probably a 14. Yeah, and then that's it. You can see all the oil down there on that alternator, right? Because of this guy over here, the spool valve always leaks down onto it. So yeah, usually I just hang the belt right here, keep everything still on it. I might have to take the tensioner off. I can't remember, but I might be able to clear it. We'll see. And yeah, other than that, the only thing I don't like about the Pilot, because you know I'm pretty short, and I always have to stand on a battery, right? And you know, trying to get myself over the the top here. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than like the Odysseys are, you know, easier on your back when you're leaning over. All right, so I got the alternator. This thing was slippery, trying to get that thing out, but I did not have to take the tensioner off. I just put the I just put the bar on and then pushed the tensioner out of the way, and then got somebody to hold it while I pulled the alternator out. But you can see all the oil on this thing. So this is what happens when that spool valve leaks oil on the alternator. And I don't clean the oil off because you just make it worse, because if you put more, like if you spray brake clean on it to clean the oil off of it, it just gets in there more, and it just, you know, fails it even quicker. So that's the alternator here. But yeah, but anyways, got an OEM alternator, and that's what I'm putting in. But yeah, it's greasy. Yeah, and just like that, new alternator's back in. Yeah, so you don't have to take the tensioner off. You can just get yourself the tensioner tool and just push it out of the way and have somebody hold it, and then pull that alternator out, and then put it back in. You know, same thing. Alright, so everything's all back together other than the negative terminal on the battery. To put that back on, and also check and see, make sure it's charging. But other than that, I'm going to bring in that CRV with that super hot alternator that was the customer was driving, and it, you know, died on him. So if you haven't checked that YouTube shorts video I put up on that, you know, it was close to 100 degrees Celsius. So and I didn't even drive it that long. And yeah, go check it out. But other than that, I'm just gonna bring that car in, and then take that alternator out, put in a new one, and then yeah, I'll probably put everything in one video. It's gonna be an alternator day. And if you're wondering how much this alternator pays, it's 1.2, because it's so easy, I guess. So yeah. Alright, so I guess we're changing the battery in that Pilot. So it had an Acura battery in it. I also recommended a new battery because it's already about 4 years old, 2019. So yeah, it's got an Acura battery in it. It doesn't even have a Honda one. So I pulled the battery out of it, and we're putting a new one in. Alright, so this is alternator number 2 for today. This is the one that the alternator was getting pretty hot. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'll remove this, remove the power steering pump, take the belt off, remove this engine mount, remove that dog bone mount, and then I think I have to remove the tensioner. Not too sure. I might have to take the tensioner off. And then that alternator has 2 bolts on top, 1 bolt on the bottom, connector, battery positive cable. I already removed the negative terminal off the battery, and yeah, so let me start taking this out. I just use our hoist adapters to support the engine, which is underneath the oil pan. Alright, so remove the engine mount. So if you guys are having trouble doing your belt on your 2007 to 2011 CRV, it makes a world of difference when you remove this engine mount to change your belt, because it's pretty tight with everything in there. You can actually just do the belt from up here once you have that engine mount out, as long as you support the engine from dropping too far down. Use a jack stand or whatever you have. So today we're not actually replacing this belt because this belt is still good. If you look on the tensioner, right, the arrow and the mark, it's still within the limits. So we're not replacing it, so because the belt is still good. But right now, you got access to that tensioner right there, so you can take the tension off the belt. I'm not going to take the belt completely off. I'm just going to hang it off to the side. Then we're going to remove this power steering pump and then remove that tensioner right there. Might not have to take the tensioner out. I can't remember, but I know that we got to take that power steering pump out. So I just removed the lines up here, swing this off to the side, and then unbolt this power steering pump, and then I'll just hang it off over here on the side here, and then I have space to remove that alternator out the front or out the top. Okay, so I said I was going to remove this line, but it's just easy enough to not disconnect that line and not have a bunch of fluid leak everywhere. Just push it over to where the engine mount's supposed to be, and then you got this wide open space just to get your alternator out. So now it's just 1 bolt on the top, 2 bolts on the bottom. You can't see the ones at the bottom because it's on the bottom. You just got to feel for it. There's 2 bolts underneath. Just get a ratchet in there and you can get it out. I think I might have to take this PCV out. Not sure if I have to remove this. I might have to, I might not. Should be just enough room to get that thing out, but pretty sure I have to take this line off for the PCV to remove this alternator. So let's get this thing out and put the new one in. And that's disconnected. Oh, by the way, we have a remanufactured Denso alternator. So yeah, I got the alternator out. I didn't have to remove anything else other than the power steering pump. Also, it's easier to remove the little 8mm bolt for that little bracket that goes onto that wiring harness, just with a long extension. But if I remember, I had a 2016 Honda Odyssey. The alternator got so hot that it melted the cable, melted the connector, connector. It also melted the fan shroud. I don't know how that happened, but it melted the plastic fan shroud on that Odyssey. So we had to replace the fan shroud, the cable, like the harness and everything, and the alternator. That's how hot that alternator got, which was pretty crazy. But yeah, anyways, that was a while ago. I didn't make a video out of it, but yeah. Anyways, let's put the new alternator in. And this alternator can go with the other alternator I just replaced. So yeah, I don't know. I got a bunch of stuff to do this week and next week. I got a 19 Accord hybrid that also has a leaking head gasket into the cylinders. But that customer has driven that a lot. Let's just say, it got 265,000 kilometers on it in 4 years. So driven a lot. It also looks like it's being pretty beat up because you'll see when I put out that video. But yeah, I'm going to be doing a head gasket on a 2-liter hybrid on a Honda Accord. What else? I also got piston rings on a Honda Accord V6. If you guys remember where the other shop did a timing belt and told them they need camshafts, well, it's definitely burning oil, and it came back in for a misfire, so I'll be doing that too. Yeah, I don't know, I got a bunch of stuff to do. Anyways, let's get this alternator in. Alright, so one last thing before I end the video is, you know, if you're trying to line up your engine mount, I have it on the hoist, so I just adjust the hoist, but to line up the hole for the engine mount, I just, you know, do one of this until the hole lines up, and then I thread the bolt, and that's about it. So anyways, that's the end of that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. So if I can do it, you can do it, and if you can't do it, find somebody else that can. I'll see you later.